The first real robot.
Welcome to StoryNanny. Laugh, learn, and dream.
Zara, Milo, and Luna burst into the time lab. The walls showed something different today. They showed hands doing work, then tools helping hands, then machines building cars, the robot arms welding, then wheeled robots exploring, then flying drones delivering different shapes for different jobs. The large circular portal glowed silver blue. Welcome back, said Zara. She wore her teal vest. Her tablet showed mechanical arms and gears. I am ready to build machines, said Milo. He wore his orange vest. He held a hydraulic piston he had been studying. I want to design something that helps, said Luna. He wore his purple vest. His sketchbook showed wheeled robots, delivering machine, and flying drones rescuing people. And I am Professor Kronos, said the scientist. His wild silver hair had gear clips. His goggles had piston designs. Ready to meet the first real robot? It didn't look like a person, and that was brilliant. He touched the portal. It showed 1954. A blue mechanical arm moved in a factory. Sparks flew. Cars were built. Today we meet George Devol and Unimate, he announced. The first industrial robot arm. It was pure function. No face, no legs, just pure helping power. Your challenge. He held up the Golden Gear trophy. Build a helper machine, any shape that solves a problem. The best functional design wins. But first, they needed to understand why industrial arms mattered. The scene changed to a dark factory. Tired workers did dangerous jobs. They lifted heavy metal without help. They welded without protection. They breathed toxic fumes. Every day was risky. Before robots, manufacturing was hard and unsafe. Factories were hot. Steam filled the air. Dangerous machinery was everywhere. Workers got hurt during the same motions. Their hands cramped, their backs ached. Some got burned by hot metal. Others breathed poison. Some jobs were impossible for humans. Parts were too tiny, temperatures too extreme, chemicals too poisonous. Heavy loads would crush a person. Then came George Devol. He was an engineer who loved machines. He watched the suffering workers. He saw jobs that hurt people. He imagined something better. He dreamed of machines that could help. Machines that never got tired. Machines that could do dangerous work while humans stayed safe. Machines that made things better for everyone. He didn't try to make it look human. He made it work perfectly. A strong arm, a precise gripper, a reliable base. Form followed function. He called it Unimate, the first industrial robot arm. The beginning of a revolution, not in shape but in safety and consistency. Ready to meet functional brilliance. They landed in New Jersey, 1954. A massive factory stood before them. Smokestacks reached for the sky. Trucks loaded and unloaded. Workers streamed through doors. the heart of American manufacturing. "Look at that huge building," said Zara. "Everything is made here." "It smells like oil and metal," said Luna, sniffing. "It feels powerful," said Milo. "There he is," pointed Zara. George Devol walked toward them. He wore a hard hat and held blueprints. His 1950s engineer clothes were practical. He smiled. "Hello, young engineers," he called. "Come, meet Unimate. Function over form." Inside the factory, the noise was overwhelming. Machines hummed. Metal clunked, but one machine stood out. It was massive. It was blue. It was beautifully functional. "This is Unimate," said Devol proudly, "the first industrial robot arm." The robot arm was huge, 2 tons of hydraulic power. It had no face, no legs, no human shape, just a strong mechanical arm on a solid base, a gripper hand that could grab and manipulate. Pure function, pure purpose. "It follows programmed instructions," exclaimed Devol. He showed punch cards feeding into a computer. The arm moved precisely, better than a human, exact, consistent, perfect. "Watch it weld car parts," Devol commanded. Unimate's arm moved to a car body. Sparks flew. Every weld was identical. The quality never varied. And no human was in danger. "It lifts heavy metal easily," Devol continued. The arm lifted a car door, then an engine block. Weights that would crush a man were nothing to Unimate. Smooth, strong, reliable. "It works 24 hours without stopping," Devol said proudly. Workers went home. No breaks, no sleep, no mistake for Unimate. Humans control it from safe distance. Devol showed them. An operator sat at a control panel behind protective glass. He watched Unimate work. He could stop it anytime, safe while the robot did the dangerous job. This changed manufacturing forever. Before Unimate, cars were expensive. After Unimate, cars became cheaper. More families could buy them. Professor Kronos used to say, "Unimate first poured jelly into jars." The kids laughed. Before welding cars, the arm practiced on food, gentle, precise, functional. Then it moved to serious manufacturing. But the real magic, that industrial arm inspired a whole family of robots. The scene showed evolution. 1954. Unimate industrial arm. 1970s. Factory arms. 1990s. Surgical arms. 2000s. Wheeled rovers. 2010s. Flying drones. 2020s. Diverse helpers. Different shapes for different jobs.
From Unimate in 1954 to 1970s factory arms, 1990s surgical precision ribbon cavalry.
Different shapes for different jobs. They explore space and oceans, wheeled and tracked robots in extreme places. Now robots do surgery, precise arms in the hospitals. All because Devol made an arm that worked, not a person that pretended.
Welcome to the next Robot Challenge!
Yeah, we can't wait. Slide share now. The story continues.